Stephanie Flowers here. I'm at KTI 2017, and I am interviewing Laura DeSantos. She is a high school Spanish teacher and department chair.
I am a teacher, classroom teacher. I teach, I've been teaching for, I'm going to be going into my 10th year.
What sparked your interest in technology, or have you always had a love of technology?
That it just was something that naturally came to be because I love trying new things. I teach 3 different preps a day usually, so I really enjoy having a lot of things going on. For whatever reason, I might be a little crazy, but that really has helped me look for things to make that easier, but also look for things to kind of keep things interesting. And I think that technology is a way to do that, plus the engagement piece has been amazing. Like, kids really benefit from it, and I will almost do anything to get them to buy it.
Yeah, and they think that's the best way for engagement, for learning.
I mean, it's hard because some of the pieces you really lack the face-to-face aspect, which is really important for communication. But the other piece of that is we can't have native speakers necessarily come in all the time. So it enables us to kind of reach out, explore culture, explore the world, listen to different people speaking from different countries, especially that we have so many that are, have Spanish as their primary language or official language. And I think that lends itself really nicely with technology.
How did you begin your journey into educational technology?
So I was nominated. The whole thing kind of came natural to me, trying new things, incorporating technology. I always loved sharing, and I think that was something that stood out because I wasn't just keeping it in my classroom. So I would tell anyone that I could get 20 minutes with, or even 2 minutes with, about what I was doing, and if I thought that it could make their life easier, it could help their kids, and by kids I mean students, because that's the word I use all the time. So that was just something that I think my administration saw, and I was nominated for KTI in 2015. And the week changed a lot about how I do things. I am even more willing to try new things. I'm now connected with amazing people who are amazing resources and experts in plenty of things that I've still not had the opportunity to explore. So I know that there's so much out there. So it just keeps me motivated. And then having been here in 2015 and using the tools and the resources that I got from coming as a star, I really wanted to try to come back and give back and, be on staff this year to create as memorable of a week as I had.
How did you, were you chosen to come back? Did you just volunteer?
It is a voluntary situation. So what you do is there's an application process, and you create this application process and you go through the stages. There's no interviews or anything, but you fill out your application, and there's there's a lot of parts to that, and then it gets evaluated, and I'm not 100% sure about how that happens. I know that it's linked with PAE and PT, and then they choose 20 lead learners per year. I'm not sure how many applied. I know that I just count my blessings that I'm able to be here, and it's been an amazing few days so far.
That's awesome, though. I mean, all the work you guys put into this blows my mind.
It is, and again, I can't take credit for most of it, but I think that it's a great program with really dedicated people who want to make this week a fabulous experience for everyone who comes here.
I guess you're probably going to a lot of different conferences, and I'm curious as far as which one has benefited you the most, or what kind of conferences would you recommend I check into? Like, I've been to P&C.
Okay, I've never been to P&C.
Okay, so I was just wondering if there's any other conferences you'd recommend.
Honestly, I can't speak to that from the technology standpoint. I've been to them for my subject areas, but nothing has compared. I've been to other technology conferences that are more like day events. Nothing can compare to this week. I think that having to stay in the dorms and having to eat at the same time as your peers and having to, I want to say force, but, have a schedule that you have to be adhered to, and groups that you have to split up into. Those really make memories and really push that comfort zone, push you out of your comfort zone, excuse me, and I think that that's what you need, because that gives you the confidence, once you've been successful, to keep doing that in the classroom. And this has been that place for KTI.
All right.
What do you think your greatest challenge is with technology in the school setting?
I come from a place that my school district is amazing. They embrace technology. They support us in using it. We're one-to-one MacBooks. We have one-to-one iPads at the elementary level up to a certain grade. So from the time that they enter school until they graduate high school, they have been exposed to almost as much technology as they want to have. There's very, very minimal limitations for them. So I think that it's important to make sure that you advocate for yourself, because even if you're in a district where that's not possible, it's important that you know what is out there. And just because you don't have it yet doesn't mean you don't start looking into those things and start trying to kind of explain how this could work for your district if you wanted to kind of make that your situation. But I'm really fortunate that in my district we have smart boards, for people who still use those. We have, again, we've done CFS in the past, so we went from carts now to the one-to-one setting. We renew our leases of our computers regularly, so we really do not have a situation where we're strapped for technology. And without that from the upper admin level and our school board support, we really couldn't do as much. I know that my experience in the classroom for student teaching was at a school district that was very impoverished, and I still can use a lot of the technology that's come out now with those students that wasn't out then when I was student teaching. So there's a lot of opportunities out there.
You mentioned giving students options as far as presentations and tools to use. When you do that, do you teach about the different tools, or do you just let the students go explore and figure it out on their own?
I think back in the day when I was first starting out trying new things, I remember it was Presley when it came out. I decided that I would take this opportunity to create a project for my students so they would have to use this resource. And that didn't present them the opportunity for choice as much as I'd like, but I thought that it was necessary when we didn't have technology as prevalent as it is right now. It was a really good opportunity for them to have to do it so that they knew it was out there, because some of the kids won't go look for it on their own. I still have students who would rather do a poster project because it's just easier for them, not because that's what they're learning from. So I think that it's been a progressive move towards giving them choices. And what I find now, especially in my district, since we've gotten our one-to-one or one-to-one laptops and iPads, we have started to use a lot of the same tools at an earlier age. By the time they get to me, they've used either what I want them to use, or is an option for them to use, or something that's so similar that it's really easy for them to pick up on something else. And the other thing that people have seen, again, could have been at KTI because it was the last conference that I've been to that was so focused in 2015 that your kids will learn. They're learning new things all of the time. They're looking for new apps on their phones. They're playing new games. They want that challenge. And again, as part of your STEAM, you want them to kind of overcome those trials and errors, by making mistakes, learning from them. So I don't really anymore worry about it. I do try to have a backup plan, so if my student doesn't have an idea of what they want to use, if they've not been in the district or haven't used it, I will model it for the entire class or teach them how to do it. I've already done tutorials with screencasts and all of that, but it just depends, I think, that you feel for the classroom. Sometimes I just take the one group that doesn't know what they're doing with that particular thing, talk to them individually, make a suggestion, give them logins, or I'll take them in the back and I'll show them how to do it. So it really just depends. But again, it's not so much that I'm making them use a specific tool, because again, a lot of them are so intuitive that they just pick up so easily.
I am going back to school for my administrative certificate, and I just have 2 classes to go, my 2 internships, and I was just wondering, as an administrator, what advice would you give on the best way to support the teachers and help them to engage the students to their greatest potential?
I was having a conversation with someone today, and they said that their district does not use any social media because of the fear of what that could possibly present as problems for the district. And I see that fear. I mean, I completely understand. At the same time, you're not going to prepare them to know what's right and wrong. And I think that being open to trying those new things, as I mentioned before, but also kind of being proactive and preemptively trying to think about all of the things that could go wrong. Talk to your teachers, make sure that if they're asking for permission or they have to ask for permission and they're going to be doing something new, engage them in some of the real life possible consequences of using this new tool. For the first time that we used Google Docs in the class, we had the chat feature that they could use, and kids spent the entire day chatting on those. And then you try to disable that chat feature, or you don't want them to have access to Twitter, but they still have cell phones that are on the. So there's a lot of things that you can try really hard to prevent, but I think it's probably more important to work with your staff to make sure that they're able to deal with or control or manage any of those things that come up, if that makes sense.
Okay, Stephanie here, wrapping everything up with a quick recap. What I mainly got out of this interview was always push yourself out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try new things. Even if you fail, you can still learn from them. Always advocate for yourself and your students. Remember, just because you don't have a type of technology now doesn't mean you're not going to get it in the future. And some good advice too is set up an example and engage your students and talk to them about the real life consequences if things don't go the way that they plan.